Is it possible to make a good cream egg stout? Hello and welcome back. Today we're looking at what can only be described as the cream egg stout fiasco. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already know that Cadbury's are celebrating 50 years of their cream egg by teaming up with Goose Island, a brewer in the US for some reason. And together they're doing a collaborative cream egg stout that doesn't actually contain any cream eggs whatsoever, but kind of tastes a bit like it might have, is the gist that I'm getting. This subject has been covered to death in the last week and I'm not going to go through every single element of it again, but needless to say, the cans are incredibly expensive, £5 each. You can only buy two, pretty much no one can get one, and by all accounts, according to reviews, it's pretty terrible. The second drop of the official cream egg stout was happening today, the day that this gets released. And to be honest, I was going to buy one, and then I thought, you know what, do I want to spend £10 on 2 cans of beer, because that's the only way you can buy it, especially when that beer isn't very good? Well, the answer is no. But can I do better? Now, I've seen a lot of people try and do this over the last few days, and it has been done to death, you are right, but I've not seen anyone do it the way that I'm thinking of. And to be honest, whilst a few people have said that theirs was a good success or was kind of nice, I didn't really believe them, and none of them looked particularly great. So, I'm going a different approach. Let's see if we can make this work today. So the way I'm going to do this is starting off with Mackesons Milk Stout. Now, Mackesons Milk Stout is a weak stout. It's only 2.8%, but I think that in this context will work in our favour. What we're trying to create here is kind of a bit of a boozy, chocolatey milkshake kind of thing in reality, not necessarily a strong beer that happens to taste like cream egg. So starting off with a low ABV beer I think makes sense. It's already quite sweet and we're not going to have to be fighting any particularly strong notes in there. I'm going to be using 3 cream eggs and about half a pint of milk. Basically what's left in that bottle, it's a bit less I suspect. But that half a pint of milk and the 3 cream eggs will be enough for 2 cans of Mackesons. We're going to do this by melting 3 cream eggs into the milk and then mixing it with the Mackesons Stout. You're going to want to put your stout in the fridge, get it nice and cold, maybe even in the freezer briefly, but obviously you don't want to get the can to explode, so be careful, because at the end of it we want kind of a cool room temperature overall brew as Mackesons is best served at. So let's get cooking. While a lot of the instructional cooking stuff that I do tends to be pretty simple, I don't think we're ever going to get anything quite as simple as this. I'm going to use the smallest pan I've got for good reason, so that the milk sits as high as possible within it, which in theory should allow more surface areas to touch the cream eggs and therefore melt quicker. And then I'm simply going to put the milk in, put all 3 of the eggs in, and then I'm going to put this pan on a low-medium heat until it gets nice and milky and syrupy. If you wanted to try and speed this process up, you could break down the cream eggs even further, but to be honest, I think that will get a little bit messy and we might lose a lot, so I'm just going to go with them whole. Now, it is going to be really important to keep these moving because the last thing we want is cream egg burnt to the bottom of the pan. That will ruin everything. After a few minutes, these are really starting to break down now. All the gooey centres are opening up, and in theory the more you mash these up in the pan the quicker this whole thing will be. It's starting to smell incredible, as you can probably imagine. This would be like an incredibly sweet hot chocolate at this point. The temptation to drink this as it is on its own will be strong. We're 5 minutes into the heat time now and it's getting pretty damn close. I ended up with this on a medium heat for the most part. You've got to be really careful not to boil the milk, because that will ruin absolutely everything as well. You can still feel a few bits of the sugary goo in the corners of the pan. Try and get those out and mixed, but otherwise this is a pretty clean, lump-free mixture. Right, I'm just going to let this finish off and I'll join you back at the table. So the mixture is still in the pan, just staying warm over to the side for a second. I've got my fresh can of Mackesons that is really cold. I put it in the freezer for about half an hour before doing this, because what we want to do is put this in the glass and then the mixture in over the top of it. It's firstly to shock the temperature down so that it's nice to drink, and most importantly so we don't end up with half of that content stuck to the bottom of this glass. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour all of this in here, pour some or most of the mixture in, depending on how much it's reduced. I may then open the other one and top it up to make a full pint, and then we'll be using the other end of the wooden spoon just to stir it around, make sure we've got a perfect blend. So let's get this open. Fantastic. Okay, I think that is enough beer, so what I'm going to do is just top that up with the mixture and we'll see how we get on. I'm going to go straight in, deep pour. And we have an overflow. But never mind, even the best experiments have their issues, so let's just give that a stir. Woo-wee. Not every video always goes to plan, but let's just get that wiped up and then we can give this a try. It still feels a little concerningly warm if I'm honest, but hey. So as you can see, it's made a big frothy milkshake like concoction. It's not the clearest. I was hoping it might be a little bit, I don't know, less hazy than that, but there's no big chunks floating around, so that's a good sign. Let's see what this is like. Let's try the foam, I guess. Ooh. It's still decidedly bitter. It is a little bit warm. I think maybe cooling the glass as well first might be a way to go. The glass is warm, but the liquid actually isn't, so... Ooh, that's chocolatey. Ooh. Now, this is absolutely not the most appetizing looking thing. But I tell you what. That's not bad. That's really not bad at all. You can really taste the chocolate in it, that's for sure. And Mackesons isn't a chocolate milk stout or anything like that, there's no chocolate in it. So it's had a huge impact there. Still get the nice bitterness from the beer, but not too much. It kind of complements as a normal chocolate stout would. It is incredibly thick. It feels like a boozy milkshake rather than beer with chocolate blended into it, if that makes sense. A few malt flavours still popping through, which is nice. It changes as you go down it because some bits you get a bit more of the sweetness depending on how it started to separate. Keep this thing moving and you've got yourself a cheeky little treat. I'm not going to lie and say this now replaces every beer and milkshake you ever want going forward. Is it the best thing in the world? Absolutely not. But do I recommend you try it? Yes, actually, I do recommend you try it. As I said, try and get the beer even colder, try and cool the glass down as well, possibly fill it with ice and wrap it in the freezer as well while you're preparing it, because the temperature is the only thing that's still not quite right, but it smells like hot chocolate. And it's really silky smooth, there's no bits in it, despite how hazy it looks. You can't tell that there's any solids in here. I mean, it can't be that bad, I've nearly finished it, right? That is a revelation. If you have tried this or you're going to, let me know in the comments below. I do strongly suspect that this is the best way to go about this compared to all the variants I've seen so far, but I'm sure there are some culinary geniuses out there who will top me if they haven't already. If anyone's already tried this method and I've missed it, then I apologise. I've just not seen anyone do it yet, which is why I'm making a video about it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.